One of the greatest gifts that we have in this life is that we have the ability to live a greater, larger, grander life, and I'm totally here for it. So, in today's episode, we're going to talk about how you can start living your dream life because why not? Like, there is no better time than right now to be living your dream life. Period. Okay. So let's get into it, y'all, because I can honestly say I'm living my dream life right now and it just keeps getting better. It doesn't mean that there's not more things that I desire or want, but what it does mean is that I'm living the life that I wished for so many years ago. And I'm excited to share y'all what that actually looks like. And then also how y'all can start living your dream life. Because at the end of the day, what's the point of all of this if we're not living the life that we want? And I talk to so many entrepreneurs and coaches all the time, and they're stressed out constantly. They're not doing the things that they want. They're trying to sometimes live a life that's not even theirs. And it just makes me scratch my head like, what the heck? Like, why work so hard and so diligently and go through the ups and downs of entrepreneurship to not be living a life that you want? So let's get into it. Let's just get into it because at the end of the day, it's time, y'all. It's time. We are going on, as my amazing sister friend Jay says. We are totally going, okay? Because you deserve that. I don't know if anybody's told you that today, but I'm gonna tell you, you deserve to live the best damn life possible. Period. So y'all know I always say life is really short and it's also really long. And it's too short to not be living the life that you want, and it's too long to not be living the life that you want. Okay, so let's get into it. So when I think about dream life, I think that a lot of people have this like idea, and I am not like, I'm on a frequency of my own. I'm not judging people how they live their life. I'm like, as long as you're not harming anybody or yourself, like you go girl, right? When I think about my dream life every day, I think about like, what do I want my time to encompass every day? And I've decided long ago that this work that I'm doing now and will continue to do, like, this is my life's work, period. Like, teaching these concepts, helping people build businesses, pouring life into them, working on their money mindset, teaching about the spiritual laws, like, more and more of that is starting to peak. And I have just committed, to do that. And when I look at my life every day, I look at, okay, what has been or what was my desires for my dream life? It was never to just sit around all day. It was never to just be like laissez-faire and just be resting 24/7. It was to do this. It was to show up on these podcasts. It was to pour into my clients, pour into the people that I love every day, and do it on my schedule, right? Like, do it when I want, how I want, without having to go to a boss. Like, that's that. It's not necessarily being in another country every week, right? That's not my dream life. Don't get me wrong. I love to travel, once a quarter. That's like my vibe. But outside of that, like, I like being immersed in the culture that I'm living in. I like being immersed in the people that are around me, the people that I love, my clients that I love, like my team that I love. Like, that's what I've wanted my entire life, and I have it, right? I always am creating money. I'm living in overflow. I'm doing the things that light me up every day and doing none of the things that I hate. That's my dream life. Period. Like, I have the car that I want. I have the freaking apartment that I want. Like, looking at building a house soon. Like, all the things that I want or aspire for are right here, right now. They're not available. Because when we think about the laws, right? The law of, which one is it? When we think about the law of nature, like, everything here is put for more life. So when I think about me living more life, like, I don't necessarily want everybody else's life. I want more life for me, right? More life that makes me happy, that gets me out of bed, that gets me excited. Like, it's that desire that fuels me every single day. Like, when I was working corporate, there was moments of desire, but it wasn't continuous. It wasn't getting me like excited out of bed every day. Like, I can genuinely sit here and say full body that this work that I'm doing gets me out of bed so hype every day to show up. And like, that's my dream life. Period. I'm living it, eating it, breathing it. I eat the healthy food that I want, right? I call in a private chef when I feel the need. I get laundry service. Like, that's that. It's a vibe. Like, I want kids in the next 3 to 5 years. Like, not right now, but I do want children. I do want to get married, and all those things are on their way, and that's available to me whenever I'm ready for it, right? Whenever I want to call it into my life, and that's my full belief. So we think about manifestations coming real, and we think about our life unraveling, right? When a flower blooms, that's more life. So when I add those additional components onto my life, that's building upon the baseline of my dream life that I have right now. And that is so magical and beautiful, because I know, like, being still and being present right now is a life that I've prayed for, and I'm living in it. And I think for so many years, I tortured myself, right? And maybe you're in that spot right now. Like, you have nothing nice to say about yourself. You're not kind to yourself. You say things that you would never say to your best friends or your loved ones, and you say it to yourself. Why is that okay? Right? It starts with, right, when I think about how I've built my dream life, it starts with me being kind to myself. It started with me giving love to myself. Right. And it wasn't always perfect. There was definitely some backpedaling and some missteps and some, like, still not nice words in between that. But what it started with was with me showing compassion and grace and love for what I did have. And gratitude was at the core of that. Gratitude for what I did have, even when I had freaking, less than $100 in my bank account, right? 4 or 5 years ago. That's what it started with, was giving myself gratitude to get what I wanted, no matter what, regardless of the how, right? Because the path to your dream life, you have to decide and show up and say, I'm going to get it, become hell or high water, no matter what, because I deserve it. I deserve it. Isn't that powerful? Like, let's sit on that for a moment. Like, I deserve it. That's magical, right? So I want you to declare and decree that you deserve the life that you want. And no matter what, no matter how long it takes, no matter how you have to get there, you're going to get it. Because life's too long and it's too short to not. Truly. Right? So that's my dream life. Honestly, you guys, it's not anything that I don't even want to put it down. Like, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. And it's perfectly me. Simple, clean, luxury, effortless, limitless. It's freedom. And that's what I prayed for. And I'm living it right now. So there's no moment that I ever wish away. Even when I have problems, like, I'm going through some stuff right now. Like, I'm so grateful for those problems because there's a solution, right? Because my dream life has provided me that solution and the skills, the expertise, like, and the bandwidth and capacity to navigate it. And that's really, really beautiful. Okay. So let's kind of talk about how I got on this path, right? And I'll talk about my day-to-day too really quick. I think that's really cool. So on an average day, right, I wake up, I go and get some cardio in. I wake up between 6 and 7. I go and get some cardio in typically first thing in the morning. So I either go on like a 3 to 5 mile walk, or I will go do like 30 to 60 minutes of incline cardio. So that's what I do. And I get my day started with that. And sometimes about 3 to 4 times a week, I'll go to Pilates or I'll lift. Like, it just kind of depends. But those are my days, right? When I first wake up. And then from there, I like to take the first part of my morning between about 6 to 9 slower. I don't like to just rush into work. Like, some days I do, but most days I don't. I'll get my workout in, I'll shower, I'll get ready, I'll beat this face. And then I will just sit with gratitude. I'll sit with, like, how grateful I am for my life. Like, some days I'll read, some days I'll listen to a podcast, some days I'll sit in silence. It just depends, right? The other note too is, like, on my cardio, I haven't been super great about it recently, but typically I do try to do one of those days silent, because I just want to sit with my own thoughts. And I think for a long time, I was so terrified of my own thoughts. Can anybody relate? Right? Being terrified of your own thoughts. So I've overcome that by sitting in silence, and doing things that I love, and just observing and absorbing and being in nature. That's something that's really important to me. So usually when I'm doing my walks outside, I'll do at least one of those in silence. So that's my 6 a.m. to 9, right? So I don't take any calls before 10 a.m. Don't ask me. It's not happening. Unless it's super, super crucial. It's very rare that I'll take a call before 10 a.m. because I need to get into the belief, into the working space, into the mindset, into the capacity to be able to take in other people's energy, right? I don't typically get on social media the moment I wake up. I will get on it, but it's not something where I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to be on social media right away. Okay. And then sometimes there's posts that go out first thing in the morning, but they're scheduled, which is beautiful. And that's when I create content, because I don't necessarily create content all day, every day. So that's about like 6 a.m. to 9. From about 9 to 10, I'm typically, and this is like during the week, Monday through Thursday. Wednesdays, I usually have a little bit different day because I do a lot of self-care on Wednesdays. Like I'll get my facials, my lashes, all those things, but it just depends on the week. Sometimes Wednesdays, sometimes Fridays. But despite that, Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, I'm hitting the ground, right? So between 9 and 10, I'm looking at email, prepping for the day, writing my to-do list, writing my gratitude list, things like that. And then from there, essentially, I usually am working from like 10 to 4. That's about like usually when I'm working. I take a lunch break. I used to not, but in the last like year and a half, I've really made it crucial because I have low blood sugar. So it's really important that I take a break and eat. So I will do that. I'll take 30 minutes to an hour. I'll sit on my balcony. I'll go on a little walk around my building. I'll just go sit on the rooftop. Like I'll sit lay on the floor. Like it doesn't really matter how it happens, but I will take a break. Okay. So I'm doing business stuff, checking with my team, meetings, sales, client work, supporting my operations manager. She runs the business, so whatever she needs for me. That's usually on Mondays and Tuesdays. Tuesdays, I take coaching calls. So usually Tuesdays are just calls all day. Not all day, like I'm talking 3 to 4 calls, but it's usually about 4 to 5 hours of calls on Tuesdays. I purposely do that because I want everything as condensed as possible. So, because I think big picture about if I want to take a weekend trip, or if I want to go to LA or San Diego or wherever, especially being in Arizona full time, it's really close to those places, or going to Sedona or Flagstaff or whatever. I'm able to take a quick, weekend trip. So Tuesdays is nice because I'm usually back by Monday or early Tuesday, and then I can, the rest of the week, I don't typically have any pressing calls scheduled, right? So I take all my calls, team calls on Mondays, and then client calls on Tuesdays. And that's that. It's been like that for a few years. Love it. Wouldn't change a thing. And then Wednesdays, like I said, is self-care or sometimes content, and that's usually for 4 to 6 hours a day. I work on average like 6 hours a day, you guys. Like some days 8, some days 4, some days 6. So I would say on average, Monday through Friday, I'm working 6 hours a day. I think this is really interesting because for a long time, I was like, I want Fridays off, because I was listening to what everybody else was saying. I was like, well, they take Fridays off. I should take Fridays off. I don't care about taking Fridays off. I don't care about it, because for me, I've dedicated my life to this work and this mission and these values. I don't feel like I need a quote unquote break from my business. Now, do I rest? Obviously. Do I take long breaks and sometimes only work for 5 minutes in a day? Yes. That does happen. I've really focused in this last year, especially on balancing the masculine and the feminine, the mechanics, the doing, all those things. And then also automating most of that. And then the feminine of receiving and flowing and creating, because the feminine is creative. So I dedicate half of my working time to being creative, right? And that may not always express on social media, but behind the scenes, expanding our curriculum, expanding my thought, reading, because as a CEO, it's so important that we expand our minds and our brains, because we can only grow our business to the level of what's up here. And if this up here isn't developing and creating and expanding, it's dying, in my opinion. So one of the best ways to do that is obviously getting mentorship. I have a mindset mentor, success mentor right now. And then also reading. I read a lot. I'm in 2 books right now. I'm in The Science of Getting Rich. It's my second time reading it full through. And I'm also reading U Squared. It's a part of the program that I'm in right now. So I'm back in these books and they're amazing. So that's part of it, reading. And then also for me, talking to people, energizes me. Talking to people in the DMs and clients and all of that. And my team is really energizing for me. So I spend a lot of my time supporting the people that support me, so that we can support the people that we support better, right? So that's a lot of it is leadership and team development and looking at 3 to 5 years out for the business, adjusting to the market, managing our funnels, and then also creating. That's that. And because we have a business where social media, organic marketing, Live launches are all optional. Like, it's not something that we have to do every single day. It gives me the freedom and the bandwidth to show up in ways that I wouldn't be able to otherwise, right? Writing emails, like, I love that stuff. So that's an average day to day. And then I log out 4, 5, 6, sometimes just depends on the day. I usually will cook dinner. Sometimes I'll go get it, but usually during the week I'll cook dinner because I like to, I'm on my health. I am healthy. So for me, cooking homemade meals is really important to me. So yeah, I would say 4 to 5 days out of the week, I'm cooking homemade, and then I'll go out with friends or, whomever, and then I'm enjoying more life. So that's my average day. The next level of that is, I want to build a house in the next year or two. So that will be like living in Arizona full time. It's hot, right? But being out by the pool or, in the winters, in the spring, it's so nice in Arizona. In the fall, sitting in the hot tub, like drinking a glass of a red blend or sparkling water. Like, I'm not a big drinker at all by any means, but a nice glass of red wine or Pinot white wine is always good. So that's like my average day, you guys, right? So there's levels to it. Obviously, it's going to change once I have children one day and get married and all those things, but that's not here today. And that's honestly my dream life. Like, I don't report to no boss. Nobody's barking down my throat. I do what I want when I want. There's been so many times I've booked spontaneous trips. Like, I don't share all of that on social media. Like, I don't feel the need to. I'm going to start sharing more lifestyle stuff as I have been lately, but I don't feel the need to share every little part of my life. Like, I've booked quick trips to California. I've booked, like trips to Dallas, Houston, like all the things, San Diego, Sedona, like that stuff happens very often and it's so nice. Right. So when I say bigger travel, like I'll go a place typically for a weekend or 5 days or something at least once a quarter. And then I'll book weekend trips as I feel called. So that's like my life and it's great. And I'm healthy, I'm happy, I'm wealthy, and I'm expanding, and it's beautiful. So that's my life. And I'm here for it. I'm here for the girls. Okay. I'm here for it, girls. We are here. We're showing up. And I think what's really beautiful is because I don't have kids, like right now, I can really, some of my listeners, my audience, lots of moms, I love y'all. Y'all are real life superwomen, like real life superwomen. I sometimes I'm like, I don't know how y'all do it. I love it. And I know once I get there, I will garner all the strength. But I think it's really cool because my audience is very split: single, not married, or married, no kids, or married with kids, like, or not married with kids. Like, there's all types of, there's a huge blend, and I attract that. Like, no matter what, like, I just want to be a mirror for all of you to show you that you can create your dream life no matter your circumstance, right? Because the moment that we rid ourselves of circumstance, that's when beauty and life, more life starts to happen. The impression of increase. He talks about that. Wallace C. Wattles, he talks heavy about the impression of increase and the living in a certain way or acting in a certain way in the science of getting rich. So if you haven't read it, we'll put our link to it in the comments or in the description. We'll put our link to it in the description. So definitely buy the book if you haven't, and you need to read it because it's going to change your life. Okay, because here's the thing. He talks about it. I just did a TikTok on this. Let me read it really quick. It's on page 19 in the new version. And I think this is really powerful when you're on your path to your dream life. He says this. It's in the chapter Increasing Life. So he says this: it is the desire of God that you should get rich. He wants you to get rich because he can express himself better through you if you have plenty of things to use in giving him expression. He can live more in you. He can live more in you if you have unlimited command in the means of your life. So that essentially means if you have the ability to get everything that you desire, like you can give back and develop more life, and like you can command a larger, bigger, greater, grander life because you have the means to do so. So getting rich it's not a like you should do it. It's a command. Like, it's a command. You need to do this, right? And the other thing that he says is that the universe desires you to have everything that you want to have. Nature is friendly to your plans. Everything is naturally for you. Make up your mind, and this is true. It's a decision, you guys. To get rich and to live your dream life is a decision. It's not going to just show up overnight. You have to consciously co-create it every single day. And whether you believe in God, spirit, universe, higher power, Allah, replace that word and use that for you in that sentence, in that little paragraph. But at the core of that, it's about, hey, like when I think about living my dream life, like everything that I want is already available to me. Like I don't have to go outside of this planet or this earth to go get the car, to live more life, to go feel better, to go get the healthcare that I need, to travel. Like it's all available to me right here, right now. We just have to decide that we are worthy and going to get it, because that's our natural default state. Period. Your dream life is your natural default state. You not living in it is what's causing the chaos and the sickness and the not feeling well and the frustration and the mediocrity. Like that's what it's causing, because you haven't decided to fully step into you owning and creating and consciously choosing your dream life every single day, right? I'm no relationship expert, but like one of the things I learned from my life/relationship coach last year was that like you do, and I always knew this, and I said this to my ex-partner when we were trying to work through our stuff, was that like we have to choose each other every day. And my coach at the time, after all the things we're going through with my ex, was very like, yes, you have to choose this person. You have to choose you every day. You choose, like, living is an extraordinary act, right? It's an extraordinary act. So many people, right? If you're not growing, in my opinion, you're dying. So it's so easy to like fumble the bag and just like rot away, right? Think about it. Like my mentor, David, gave this beautiful analogy today on our call, and he's talked about, think about an apple tree. Like if an apple tree doesn't get the apple tree gets its nutrients because it already lives and exists and breathes on this planet. If it doesn't get its nutrients, it doesn't get the water, like it finds a way, but eventually if it doesn't find its way, it dies. It's the same thing for us, you guys. If we don't find our way to getting rich and creating wealth and like living a greater, larger, grander life, like we die, like because we're not living out our full purpose. Does that make sense? I need y'all to understand that. So we have to be like the apple tree and we just have to magnetically attract it to us. Like it's not like the apple tree gets up and moves. It's planted and it grows and it gets the nutrients and it has these pathways and the way to have oxygen and like grow and like take in these nutrients for it to create more life. So for us, like, why are we settling for not having more life? Why? I know why, because most of us feel like we're not lovable. We feel like we're not enough. We feel like we're doing too much. We feel like if we get rich, we're taking away from other people. And I'm here to tell you all that shit is false. It's false. It's so freaking false, right? Because money is constantly in circulation. There's more than enough available for all of us. More than enough. Do you guys understand? Money gets printed like, not literally every day, but that's what it feels like. The exchange of money happens through sales. Period. It happens through sales. Okay, so if you want more life, you have to sell. That's it. Because the wealth that you desire is already exists on this planet. You just have to be the one that commands more in your life. Set the damn standard in your life, and everything else will be magnetically attracted to you. Have you ever seen somebody out and you're like, man, that person's just a vibe. Like they didn't do anything special. Like they're just a vibe. Like I get that about certain people when I'm out. I'm like, damn, I don't know why I'm attracted to your energy, but you're a vibe. It's the same thing that you need to do or like show up for with your money and your wealth and your rich creation, is being a vibe for that. Being a magnetic energy, confident, no wiggle room, no half in, half out, no acting as if, knowing and being that it's already here and available to you, and that you are the master of creating wealth. Because once you master creating wealth, your dream life is like here in an instant before you even know it. Now, yeah, there may be setbacks or hard times. For sure, that's life. But like when you can control the ability to create wealth, 95% of your problems go away immediately. You just cut the damn check, period. Like you cut the check. Cut the check. Think about it. Any of the problems in your life that are leading you to not, quote unquote, have your dream life, what would solve it? I can guarantee you probably money. Guarantee. Because I've been there. I know. Right? And that's something that my mentor David had shared with us recently. And I'm just like, damn. And if I want to take that one step further from like, money will solve your problems. Yeah, money will solve your problems. And it'll also give you more options. That's powerful. Right? Because you have more options to create a larger, grander, bigger dream life. Why would we settle if we literally do not have to? I've been in rooms where women have played so small. Even myself. Like, let's just talk about Lattice right now. I played so small and thought that my dream life was so unattainable, when in reality it was here the whole damn time. I was just looking everywhere else but right in front of me at the mirror saying, girl, you already got it. You just got to decide, because there's no need for more money if you haven't made a decision. The how will show up as soon as you make the decision. It happens every time. It's law. It's law, you guys. Law of cause and effect. If there's a reason that you need the money, it will show up. Every time. Every single time. Okay? So let's talk about how you get on the path to living your dream life. I have a couple steps here and a couple thoughts I want you to take in. I have some notes, so I'm going to look over here. So the first thing I want you to really get clear on is, what are your values? What do you value most? Is it time? Is it energy? Is it being able to be with your loved ones, being able to travel? Is it being able to rest more? What is it? I don't want you looking at everybody else. I don't want you scrolling Instagram while you're writing this down. I want you to ask yourself, what are your values and what do you want? And if you don't know what you want, keep sitting there and writing until you get something on that piece of paper. Don't put it on your phone. Don't put it on a notepad, right? Or a Google Doc. Put it on a notepad. Like, get a piece, handwrite it, because it's going to flow through you different. Like, we're scripting. Okay, so what are your values? Do you value your time? Do you value not having calls before 10 a.m.? Do you value your workouts? Do you value being able to travel at the drop of a hat? Because that's going to define how you scale or change or grow your business to create the wealth that you need to fit into that. Too often, business owners what I've seen is that they've tried to like create the wealth and then make the lifestyle. No, you have to start with the lifestyle first and then the wealth will follow, right? You have to have a need for the wealth to come in, right? So you have to expand. I'm not going to say go put yourself in crazy debt or whatever, but like you will expand. I've given this analogy before. It's like Jell-O, right? The Jell-O expands to the container that it's in. So it's the same thing for you and the wealth that you're going to create. You make the decision of getting the apartment, getting the car, taking the days off, traveling, whatever it is, paying off the debt, investing. Your wealth will start to expand into the container that you put it in, which is your life. That's powerful. Okay, so what are your values and what do you deeply want most? Okay, first thing. The second thing I want you to do is disregard the money that's in your bank account right now. Be grateful for it, but also become unattached, right? So disregard with unattachment, because regardless, there's always more money on its way to you. That's my belief. There's always more money. There's always more money. There's always more money. We, at this point in my business, we get paid every single day. Every day. There's always more money. I'm never without, right? And I continue to value and create more needs to create more money. Okay? And when money goes in flux, it goes up, it goes down. I don't get scared. I don't say, oh, I got to clutch my pearls. Oh, I got to cut back. I can't get my laundry service. Or, oh, I can't. No. Because if we have the belief of that there's always more money available to us and that we are the co-creators of our reality every single day. Okay, bank account's a little down. All good. I'm grateful for what I do have. And I know there's more on the way. Thank you, God. Thank you, universe. I'm going to carry on with my day. Because when you can get so solid in your belief and your core of like, damn, I'm so taken care of. Thank you, God. Thank you, universe. Thank you, Allah, for providing for me always and always. Always and always is one of my favorite sayings. I don't know if I've heard it from anybody, but like I say it all the time. I'm provided for always in all ways. Okay? And I will not be denied my success or my wealth. And I carry on. Okay, so that's the second thing. You have to start, I call it like thought stopping. Like anytime negative thoughts or I don't have enough or whatever, I stop it. I say, thank you, God, for universe, for bringing that to my awareness. Because it's not really from the universe. It's my ego, actually. Sorry. Thank you, ego, for bringing that to my awareness. I choose not to believe that. And I go on with my day. It's not always easy, right? But unlearning, I've been doing this work since I got into the law of attraction when I was around 21, 22, somewhere in there. I've been doing this work for 8 years. I just turned 30, right? But think about it. The first 21, 22 years of my life, I had to unlearn the shit. I've only been doing this for less than a third of my life at this point. Okay, so it's still going to come up, but I welcome it and I release it because that's not my belief, right? Another good book to read about like how to release and like really get into your mind and like start changing the thoughts is called The Untethered Soul. Read that book. So good, by Michael Singer. Okay, so the second thing is you're going to unattach and disregard. You're going to look at the money in your bank account. You're going to be grateful. You're going to thank it. And you're going to say, even if it's $1, I'm grateful because I got more. I'm so abundant. I'm so grateful. I'm going to still live my life because the money always shows up. Period. Okay? It's always available to me when I need it. And I have an energetic set point of maybe it's $80K a month or $30K a month or $10K a month, whatever it is, and you keep raising that set point. Okay? That's how you increase your wealth. You raise your set point. You don't, it's this beautiful idea that like come hell or high water, you're going to make it happen every month. Right? So we have an energetic set point in our business and I just raised it. And it's like, we're going to do XYZ, ZZZ per month. I don't care how we have to get there. We're going to get there. And that's me telling the universe I value that. Right? It's me telling the universe, God, hey, this is it. Because I have a need for it. Okay? Damn, what's number 4? What versus what not? What did I say? And I was like, oh, I should write this all out, and I didn't. Okay. The 4th thing on your path to your dream life is you have to start, and I heard this from Ed Milet recently on one of his podcasts. He talked about touching it. And this is something that I have been doing for years, visualizing really, but like visualizing it in real life and putting myself in the room and putting myself in the places and putting myself in the cars and putting myself around the people. Like I was touching my dream life every day. Even if I couldn't have it all at the time, I was touching it. Right? And Ed Milet put that so beautifully. And my interpretation of it is, like I said, the visualizing. It's like it's physically like encompassing yourself in the energy. So how do you do that? Right? So I'll tell you the story about how I got my Range Rover. So I have been wanting a Range Rover, girl, since I was like 18. I've been wanting it for so many years. But I was like, oh, I never thought I couldn't get it, but I was just like, it's just not for me right now. So I kept putting it off, whatever. Like it didn't logically make sense for a long time, right? Like car payment is there, right? And I was like, my car payment's like, not anymore. My rent's way more now, but like, it was like my first rent out of college. Like it felt like a big amount of money. Now I look at that and it's like, I'm so grateful. And that for some people, that is a large amount of money in my life right now. It's not anymore. But it's still, it's a nice chunk of change. So I over the years, I would screenshot, I would see Range Rovers on the street. I would take pictures. Like I probably have 30, 40 different pictures over the years of Range Rovers inside of my phone. I would take pictures. And I had never been in one, right? Actually, no, my friend, her name's Nugget, from when I lived in Denver, she had an older Range Rover and I had been in that. And I was like, it was like a 2010, like it was a bad boy. It was old though. So I was like, it's not exactly what I want, but it's getting me closer. So I always have her drive. Like, I'm like, I'll give you gas money, girl, but like, whatever. She was super cool. So that was my first experience getting in a Range Rover. And then as the years kind of went on, blah, 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 like I would say in 2020 and 2019, I really was like, okay, like we're getting on the path to this Range Rover. So yes, I could have bought the Range Rover in 2020. Decided not to because logically, I let my ego and logical brain take over. I'm like, I don't want to extort my lifestyle, right? Which I get it, where you don't want to just like, you don't want to be dumb with your money. So I didn't do it in 2020. And then in 2021, I didn't do it. Like it was also COVID. So like there was a shortage and all these things. And then in 2022, I woke up right after my 29th birthday last year, 2022, I said, I'm getting my Range Rover. And there was a super shortage at this point. Like the exact one that I wanted was the 2022 Velar, all white, brand new, light interior, blacked out, like the black pack. I wanted the exact one. I didn't want any other Range Rover. So I put up my search settings on like cars.com and like the other little sites. I put up the search settings and I was like, I'm just going to let the alerts come in. So, and I put all my exact settings and there was like 0 cars found, 0 cars found. Okay. And then I would get calls from the dealerships. They'd be like, oh, we have the exact one, but it has a black interior. I was like, I don't want that. That's not what I want. Oh, we have the exact one, but it was a lease and it has 8,000 miles. I don't want that. I don't want it. And I wait. I was like, God, I want this by, like, I want it by July. It was like May, and I want it by July. So one beautiful day, I got an alert that the exact one that I wanted was in a dealership in California, Riverside. And I was like, this is my car. I was like, this is my car. It's mine. So I called them and blah, blah, blah. I put my application in for it. And initially they wanted a bigger down payment because it was my first, like, I had my Jeep for like a long time, and it was like very much paid down, like whatever. It wasn't paid off, but it was paid more than like half down. And it was, you know, I hadn't gotten a new auto loan, and auto loans are interesting because they want, like, when you buy a luxury car, they want to see that, and I don't own a house, so not yet, but they want to see, like, when you're getting above like the $50,000, $60,000 car value range, they want to see, like, do you have the ability and the leverage to make this type of car payment? Because I wasn't paying in cash. I didn't want to pay in cash. I think paying in cash for a car is kind of, it's not my MO. It's not what wealthy people do, right? And I've also learned, like, my next car I will lease, but that's another story for another day. I bought this car. Long story short, I basically had to prove my worthiness of, like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, I'm going to submit you guys my personal statements, my business bank statements. That's all I have. Like, this car loan is almost paid down. I don't really have any. I have a few little credit cards, but, like, I don't carry big, like, you know, I'll roll over $1,000 or $2,000, $3,000 of credit card debt, but I pay that off, you know. I pay it off every month, every other, like, whatever. It gets paid off. So I didn't have really, besides my student loans, I didn't have any other debt. So they're just like, okay, you know, they had to go back and forth with the finance manager, and they called me. They're like, okay, if you could put XYZ down, which was easy, like, you can get it. And, like, can you come tomorrow? I was like, well, I'm in Arizona. They're like, okay, well, we have somebody else that's looking. I was like, oh, no, I'll be there. So I got the call on a Friday, flew to California the next day, got a flight like that, flew to California, had my car the next day. That's how I manifested my Range Rover. I held the damn belief that it was mine. I held the belief, right? Because I did all these touch points. In 2021, I test drove. I missed that part. I test drove a Range Rover. It was a Velar. It wasn't the exact colorway, but it was like, I went and test drove it at a local dealership in Arizona. And I was like, okay, I'm getting the feels. I'm getting the vibes. I wasn't ready for it yet. I didn't ask for it yet. 2022, asked for it, got it. Immediately. Like, way sooner than I wanted. And I got it. So I say all this to say, you guys, about building our dream life, you have to, as Ed Milet said, you have to touch it. You have to breathe it. You have to immerse yourself. He says touch it. I say breathe it, immerse it. You have to encompass all being to start building our dream life. Because you're not going to wake up with the 7 figures. You're not going to wake up with the $1 million in investment portfolio and real estate. Like, you're not going to just wake up with it. You have to start putting your place in spaces so you can feel the energy. It's not fake it till you make it. It's feel it till you make it. And you feel it by being in the places where the energy is already matched. You have to go match the energy. You have to go put yourself there, right? So if you want a new car and you can't quite afford it yet, go test drive it. That's free. It's free to test drive a car. Go test drive it. Even if you're like, you feel like it's light years away from you, go test drive it, right? That's free. Go put yourself at the Four Seasons Hotel at the bar. $100. You got $100, right? Hell, if you carry yourself the right way, you probably get free drinks, period. Okay. Go put yourself there, right? If you want to do a whole new wardrobe and it's going to cost you $15,000, $20,000, you're not there, go buy one piece. Go get one nice blazer, one nice suit, one nice dress. Hell, one nice wallet. If you can't buy the full bag at the Gucci store, buy the wallet, buy the belt, right? Start putting yourself, like, everything doesn't have to cost money, but you do have to start to show the universe you're ready and you're prepared for it because you've made a decision. Okay, so manifesting your dream life starts with overriding the paradigms that you can't have it, overriding the thoughts and the energy that you're not, like, it's not available to you. You have to override it. It's like you have to push a button, push a button, push a button. And you push that button by putting yourself in the energy of, like, damn, I have it. I got it. Because you start to get more comfortable with it. You start to be like, I deserve this. I belong here, right? Because here's the thing about, like, confidence as well. You don't just build confidence. Like, you don't one day wake up, I have confidence. It takes courage to create the confidence. It takes courage. So much courage. Courage to put yourself out there. Courage to make mistakes. Courage to fail. Courage to look dumb at the Four Seasons. No one's even paying attention to you. Right? Like, you start to attract what you believe that you deserve. And you can't believe if you deserve it if you've never felt it. You don't know what like being in love is until you feel it. You have to give it to yourself. So if you want your dream life, you have to start giving it to yourself. Make decisions from the place of her, not who you are today. Because who you are today is going to keep you small, stuck, all the things that you don't want to be. You can't get to the next level until you override the hardwire and the software that's like, damn, I'm going to go get it no matter what. Come hell or high water, I'm going to get it. Doesn't mean you have to kick, scream, fight, nothing. You're just going to get it regardless of what anybody or anything has to say about it. Period. Okay, so when we think about living your dream life, it's non-fucking negotiable. Period. That's how I show up in my life every day. Every day is not great and perfect. It's not. I'm not going to sit here and give you guys fluff and boo-foo or whatever. You guys know I'm all about the matching the energy. So go match the energy of what you desire because it will come to you faster than you think. I promise you, I've lived this life. I live this life every day. I'm looking at making a really big investment right now. Huge. Right? We're about to go through a massive rebrand. And it's a lot of money. Okay? It's not a lot of money, but it's a nice chunk of change. So I get into the energy of like, what is it going to feel like? What is it going to look like? What is it going to taste like? What is it going to smell like? Who's the photographer going to be? Where's the site? What's the logo going to look like? What's the colors? How am I going to feel? How are other people going to feel? What's the vibes, the energy? I paint the picture in my mind. And I'm shopping online for outfits. I'm already looking at this. I'm looking at that. Right? Although I'm going to have a stylist and all these things, but I'm starting to be like, that's a nice idea. That's something that I would like. Right? So override the paradigms and the old beliefs that aren't even yours anyway. That's how you get on the path to living your dream life. Your dream life is literally waiting for you to show up for it. It's here. It's everything you want is right here. Every time I go back to that, it grounds me and it brings me home. Okay. So if I can leave you with anything today, is that like you get in this life what you believe you deserve. And belief is garnered with decision that no matter what, I'm gonna make the 50K this month. I'm gonna make the 100K this month. I'm gonna take that trip. I'm gonna figure out the money. I'm going to show up for myself in ways I've never shown up before. I'm gonna buy the house. I'm gonna buy the car. I'm gonna take the Fridays off. Whatever it is for you. Don't judge other people's, right? Because that shows a frequency that you're not quite ready to operate on. Right? So elevate your frequency, tune your frequency to the level that you want to be on. Even if it's just as simple as driving in the luxury neighborhood. That's free. Getting one drink for the Four Seasons, that's very inexpensive. Test driving the luxury car. Whatever it is for you, you go do that starting today. Okay? I love you guys. Your dream life is literally loading. I have mine, and it's time for you to get yours. Okay? I love you, and I'll see you in the next episode.